It's the mom life.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Living in the Moment with me and Steph. And so we don't have Steph joining us today, but we do have Daisy, and I'm so excited to welcome her on. We actually had her on in a December, I don't know if it was December or November, but it was a holiday
think it was
episode.
November, yes.
Oh, yes. And so you guys hear us talk about Daisy all the time. She is part of our toddler group, and she's actually Stephanie's pregnancy and delivery twin. I'm sure you guys heard us say that a bunch of times, but they were pregnant at the same time. They had their babies the same day, rooms right next to each other. And you guys were what, like 2, 3 hours apart?
An hour.
Oh, yeah. You see? So
An hour almost to the minute. Yeah.
yeah, so I remember and I've said this before, so I sound like a broken record, but I just remember showing up to the hospital and I was like, oh, here's a little welcome gift to Lily, and he's a little welcome gift to Maddie, and it was beautiful entering two very pink rooms, and so you guys hear us talk about Daisy a lot, and today we actually wanted to talk about the lost and found identity process that we go through as new time moms, and we both only have one child. Again, Lily is a year behind
And
JJ,
a half.
a year and
Mm-hmm.
a half. And so yeah, so we've gone we're still recently, we're on the roller coaster of losing and finding our identity. Um
Absolutely.
and so I do want to jump in right away into losing identity because I feel like for me, anyways, and maybe I'm sure for everyone, there was a big shift in priorities. And that includes like personal needs, hobbies, and your career definitely takes a
Mhm.
back burner.
Absolutely. I definitely do feel that moms do lose their identity, but they kind of, at least for me anyway, I definitely did lose myself. I think at this time last year I was in not knowing or not recognizing or not admitting that I was in the depths of postpartum depression, and just trying to get through that, trying to find out. I used to be very career driven, um you know all of that. I just wanted to excel in work, and it's like it's not the case anymore for me. Like, my priority is making sure that my baby's okay now, but in that first year, especially the first maybe like 6 months of life, you're of my baby's life, I was like, what is happening? Like, my friends aren't calling me anymore. People are just calling to talk about the baby or see the baby, or it's not like you take a back burner to the new little one's life, and that's okay, but it's different. It's really hard to get used to, especially when you've gone 35 years of your life with a bunch of friends and being very social and very, like always having something to do, and then you don't because you have your baby, and that's fine. That's perfect. I mean, I love it now. I loved it from the beginning. It was just very different.
Oh yeah, I think it's so different, and I will be the first to admit that I was super driven in my career and making money, and then I had my baby and I'm like, wow, all I want to do is be a stay-at-home mom and I don't care about anything else. But going back, I think part of losing our identity is not just a shift in priorities, but like you said, there is a lot of isolation in being a new mom. I feel like for me, I wanted to be alone a lot more because I wanted to just focus on me and my baby and our schedule. And my baby was born right in the midst of holiday season. He's a Thanksgiving baby. And so for me, I'm like, go away. I don't want the flu. I don't want the COVID. I don't want none of it. But it is, there's a lot of isolation. Your friendships and your social circles shrink a lot. And
And
you're more social. Yeah, you're more social than I
they
am.
change. Yeah. And they change, right? Because now you have friends that uh, you're not in the same period of life anymore with them, right? Before it was concerts and trips, and doing things. Like, I always took a trip at least once a year, um, with a friend, and we always had a blast, right? But now it's like we're talking about it again, but I'm like, well, now I have to plan differently because I have my baby, and I mean, I she doesn't have kids, so I'm sure she doesn't want to take Lily with her. I mean, if she did, you know what I mean? So, um, And if she did, I mean, she loves Lily, but I don't know that she would want to do just like an all kids trip. When now for us, me and my husband, when we're planning trips now, it's like, okay, like, where's the zoo? Where's the aquarium? Or like, what is there to do for kids, right? So, and I think that within like your relationship changes too, because it's not just you two anymore. It's now a third little life or a fourth little life or whatever it may be. And um, but again, all of that to say it's positive, right? It comes back and you're just so happy to be with your baby. And like you said, Lily was born end of September, so we're in the midst of COVID, flu, RSV, and I didn't want anybody coming over either. And honestly, if my phone rang, I probably wouldn't have answered it. So it's like it's this weird thing of being um, like feeling like you're losing yourself, but also like, yeah, but this is me now. This is who I am now. I'm mom, and
Yeah.
I love being mom. I
Yeah.
love being mama.
Yes, yes, and there's definitely it's like a transformative phase because um I'll say the same thing that it's like you lose yourself, but you don't just lose yourself when you immerse yourself in motherhood, you also lose yourself in your marriage. And as does your
Mm-hmm.
husband, right? You're starting to balance new things, are starting to look at the world differently, and you guys can come together and say, wow, I created this thing, and it can really bond you. But it's also very hard because everything else in your marriage, not just your career, takes a back burner. And part of that is, you lose yourself, your body, and your mental stability. And that is, I mean, a lot of marriages fail in the first year, first 2 years of your baby because of it. And it's hard. It's hard.
Absolutely. And like you said, like your marriage takes a back burner, and sometimes I don't feel like that's the case. It's just you're both trying to figure it out, and just with anything it takes work to stay connected as a husband and wife. And because yeah, I do remember I think now we got it. I think we're a good team. We've always been a good team, but there was times when it's just like you're barking orders and you don't mean to, but it's just so much going on in your head that you're just saying what's on the top of your head and what needs to be done, and you're not realizing that you're being rude or demanding or you know um and I feel like husbands lose themselves too, in a sense, because I feel like they're just like running all over the place for you and for the baby and doing things, and because you don't want to leave the house, you're sending them to do the things that maybe you would used to do, or especially in the first 2 3 months when you just don't you're just so protective of your baby, like so protective.
I did really love that about Julian. Is you're exactly right. Is he was doing all the errands, he was doing the grocery shopping, he was doing it all for the first 2 3 months, and I loved it. I'm like, yes, where have you
Can we
been?
go back to
Now he's like, you're good, girl. You can go do it yourself.
that? Yeah, take him with you.
Actually, now we do family shopping trips, like grocery shopping trips, and JJ loves it. Like he loves it
Oh,
so
that's
much.
cute.
Yeah, we do that. But for you, I don't know how you felt. Every woman feels differently, but for me, looking at you, I don't feel like there was a huge physical change for you because she breastfed, and I feel like you got freaking tiny immediately. And for me, I lost weight, but it took me longer. And so
Mm.
adjusting to a new body for me was weird. I don't think I lost my weight until my baby was almost 2, and then I lost a lot. I lost like 40 pounds, and then I'm slowly gaining it back because we're still in holiday season in my head.
V keeps extending this holiday season,
Hey,
guys.
it's we just passed Easter, man. It's holiday.
um, no, I think for me, physically, my body didn't look differently from pre-pregnancy. I looked different in the sense that I actually lost weight.
Oh my god, you were
Um,
so tiny. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I lost 15 pounds in the first trimester. I was so sick. And so, in totality of my pregnancy, I think I gained, I think it was like 7 pounds pre pregnancy. Like from pre pregnancy to the very
Well,
end, it was only 7 pounds.
and then you
And I've
breastfed.
not, yes, and then I breastfed. So I've not gone I've still not even gone back to like my pre-pregnancy weight. I'm still smaller than that. And I mean, glad, right? Not to be shallow or anything. I mean, I think every woman's body is beautiful. Um, but for me, we had a car accident 2 weeks before I had the baby,
Oh gosh, yeah.
and there was some injuries that occurred within my body at that time, and that's a story for a whole other day. And I haven't gotten my body back. I still have a lot of pain. I still deal with that, and that's because when you are in a car accident, when you're that close to delivery, or any type of injury, when you're that close to delivery, all of those um, hormones that are in your joints to help you have your baby, right? To open your hips up and expand your hips and such. All of that, it's not just in your hips, it's everywhere. So, for me, I do feel like I've lost my body in that sense because I'm in constant pain, whether I'm holding her, caring for, doing whatever. I mean, now I'm used to it. It is just a part of my life, but I do miss the days when I didn't have that, right? So, and like you said, every woman's different. I unfortunately had that experience, but um if we have another one, I hope that doesn't happen and I can truly go through the phases of what that looks like, right? Your body changing and things like that, and
Well, and I think
loving and caring for my body, I guess, differently at that time.
right, and I think to your point, your body does change, like physically. A lot of women, I mentioned breastfeeding because you lose a lot of calories when you
Mm-hmm.
breastfeed, and so a lot of women tend to shrink. But then there's a lot of calorie intake because you're so hungry. I feel like I was never full, and I actually
And
lost,
thirsty.
yeah, I lost a lot of weight when I was breastfeeding. It's when I stopped that I'm like, well, I'm
Mm-hmm.
still eating the same, y'all. And it's just staying now. But
My husband would be like, I've never seen you eat this much ever. Like, we would go out to eat and I would finish my plate, and he's like, you've never eaten that much. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
well,
It's
she's
it's her.
hungry too. She's eat, yeah,
It's
she's,
her.
but to your point also, you're right as far as you lose your body in the sense that you're doing so much as a mom. Like, I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
we're not buff and built by the time our kid is one because you're carrying them around, and not just that, but all the contraptions, right? You have like their car seats or strollers. I mean, I'm just like
Yeah,
the
and you're doing everything with one hand. Like, how do you learn to
cook,
do so
everything.
much with one hand? Yeah.
We are
And then
Olympians.
I mean, hair loss, girl.
I didn't have hair loss like
Whew.
you dealt with that more than I did. I
I had hair loss like crazy. But if you see Lily, it's okay
She's
because it's
beautiful. She
all
got
on
all
her
the
head.
hair. Yeah.
It's all on her head. But,
Lily,
bald spots and, just dealing with all of that. And that's hard because I think for me, I've always been very like self aware of my hair. And I don't like to wear it up. I don't like to do anything unless I'm being lazy. But even now, I don't have the option to wear it up because there's a big bald spot on my head now.
yeah, I think
So
that's
you
also
just deal.
your hormone changes, your stresses, but then like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned early, you dealt with postpartum. And so that's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of hormones that are imbalanced when you're dealing with that. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
struggle with that. Thank you, you know, thank you to all to the heavens above. But I know that you and Stephanie did, and you both had girls, and
Mm-hmm.
that was tough just to
Yeah, it was very strange because I don't think I realized, or I think I was just in denial because I do remember having the thoughts and the emotions and the feelings of like the anxiety and everybody says, well, that's normal, right? You're a new mom. You're
just
going to feel the
dismissing you,
anxieties. You're
right?
going to feel the worries. You're going to feel all of these things. But, but to the point where like, I know my heart loves this baby to no end. I love her to pieces, but my mind wasn't recognizing that. Like my mind was just like, okay, I have to go through these motions. I was just going through the motions of being a mom for the first, God, like I'd say 8, 9 months of her life until finally I said, enough is enough. I have to take back my life right now.
Right.
I need to get myself better, but not just for me, but for my baby. Like she deserves the best version of me, right? So, I started counseling, still doing that. And I really recommend that to anybody, not just have your support system, but to get yourself back and find your identity again. Like it's so important. And I'm so grateful that I did. that's definitely something that I've learned. If we do go for baby number two, I think I'm going to listen to those signs sooner if they come back. My prayer is that if I have another baby, that I won't have to go through that, because now you deal with the guilt of feeling that way early on, right? But all of that to like circle back into like finding yourself again, because I really do believe that um for me, I was always meant to be a mom. I always wanted to be a mom. This is who I wanted to be. It was so important to me to align with somebody who had the same values and had the same thoughts of family, right? And so, yes, I felt the isolation. Yes, I felt like, okay, I don't have this social life anymore. All of that has changed. But you know what? Like, I lived that for 35 years of my life. Like, I'm good. I don't need all of that anymore. Um, I'm mama now, and that's who I want to be. And that's who I have found like such great purpose in, that I love being her mama. And it's so funny because she used to call me Daisy for months. She called
Yeah.
me Daisy. She refused to call me mama. And it was just like last month that she finally was like, Mama, Mama, Mama for
No.
everything. And I was like, oh my God, this is my whole heart. Like, this is, I love it. I love it. I don't know what else to say. I just love her, and she is my purpose. She is my identity. She is who I am now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's in finding yourself, you lose yourself, like you said, in many ways, but you also find yourself because you do find a deeper sense of fulfillment in
Mm-hmm.
life. And if there's any naysayers, like you find your tribe, right? Like we all
Mm-hmm.
united, we all got together. There's four of us that are really close, and we have a mom
Mm-hmm.
like little group text, and we text each other when we're frustrated or even when we do things and we feel bad, and we're really
Mm-hmm.
there for each other. But you find your circle and you lose some people, and that's
Right.
okay because they're not
And,
part of this
and that's
chapter.
with any part of life, right? Not just in motherhood. I think you go through phases and you growth and such, and just because you lose friends doesn't mean you mean any ill will or anything like that to them, like wishing you the best success and love and happiness and all the things. We're just in different phases, and I'll cheer you on from over here.
Yeah, and I think there's a
That's
lot
just.
of clarity in your values because you reassess what matters. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
just relationships and friendships, it's a lot of things. It's your beliefs. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big one because now you're raising someone. And I will say it is a lot easier to procreate with someone that you have the same belief system,
Right.
and whether that's religious or in family or whatever your foundation is, like it, you just reassess all the big important things in life because now you're like, whoa, nothing else matters but raising
Mm-hmm.
this child and raising this child right. And so
Right.
there's a new individual growth, right? There's a newfound part of yourself with patience, resilience, multitasking. And so again, you lose a lot of yourself. It's like you're shedding yourself and
Mm-hmm.
you become a whole better version, stronger version of yourself. And I love
Mm-hmm.
motherhood. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I was going to be a mom. I didn't know if I wanted to be a mom when I was younger. But now I love this identity. And if I could,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be a lady in the shoe with 12 kids. And
Growing up, I always said I wanted to be a mom for as long as I could remember. Like, I always wanted to be a mom. I was always terrified of the pregnancy, but always knew that I would love to be a mom. Then I went through this phase in like my mid 20s when I was like, no, I don't. I just know it's just not for me. Like, it's just, this world is awful, and I just don't want to bring somebody into this life. But then it was crazy because then I turned 30, and it was like,
it's biology.
yeah, I
Something
was like,
clicks.
oh,
Yeah.
who was that girl? I don't know who that girl was, but that is not
Bye.
me.
Yeah.
That was not me. I want to be a mom. I wanted to be a wife. Like, it was just very important to me to find, like I said before, find somebody who had the same thoughts and beliefs and values, and for that. And then again, learning what type of parents you're going to be together and kind of what structures you're going to have and all of that. And you know, like you said, your patience, your resilience, all of that, you don't realize how strong you are until you're a mom, I think. Or at least I didn't. Like I knew I'd gone through some things and got myself out of them, was never
But
truly
it's
afraid
different.
to, yeah, to like jump into the next phase of my life, feet first and just go for it. But yes, it is different.
It's
Being
different because
now it's different. Yeah.
Daisy and I knew each other in our wild years, and I say
Mhm.
wild years as in our 20s, and so we have a long history together over a decade. But I remember, when I was 18, high school senior year, I grabbed a map from the wall. I closed my eyes and I turned it, and wherever my finger landed, that's where I moved. And I moved to Colorado. I moved to Denver, and I was so brave. And then I had a kid, and all that bravery kind of went away for a
Mhm.
while, but now it's back and it's stronger than ever. And I'm like, I will fight anyone for my kid. I don't care who you
Oh
are.
yeah.
Like,
Don't, yes.
I am so
Mama Bear is
right.
here.
I am
Yes.
braver than I've ever been. So I don't think your identity gets lost or found. It's more of a transformation. You can feel lost at first, but then you evolve later and you evolve
Mhm.
into the person that you're meant to be. And
Mhm.
if you ever feel lost, community is so big. Family, friends,
Right.
make sure that you have the positive ones in your life. If there's any naysayers, it's okay
Don't
to,
be afraid to cut them out. I
yeah,
I
close
will
the
tell you
door.
that there is family even in my like now that I would have never imagined that I would have set that boundary and not like said no, like hard no, you're not in my life anymore. But I've done that. I've done that just in the last year because I didn't want my daughter to feel the way that somebody had made me feel, because that's not love, right? And I don't, not going to force my daughter into a relationship with anybody um, if they are a naysayer, and all they're going to do is bring her or I down, or bring me down, and in that process bring her down because her mom is being brought down, right? Like, you are your daughter's example, you are your child's example, right? They look to you to grow and to, who they're going to become. You are their example.
Even to find
And so,
peace. Yeah.
right, right. And so I think it's very important, like you said, it's a transformation, not just of yourself, but of your world, really. Like, what is in your world, what is in your capsule, like who and what are you going to accept?
Yeah, and I think
And
I think that's the one of the prettiest things about motherhood is you do become selfless in so many ways, but a part of that is you stop worrying about your issues and how people make you feel, and just you stop worrying about self in the way that used to almost be destructive at some points, and you're like,
mm-hmm,
nope, my kid's not going through that. Nope, my kid's not going to
right.
feed into or feel that type
Mm-hmm.
of energy. Like, yeah, I care
Mm-hmm.
about you, but I just don't care anymore because I care about
Mm-hmm.
my kid, first and foremost. And so I will say another big thing for me, and I'm sure for you too, but it, you need to also have passions and projects outside of motherhood, because
Mm-hmm.
there still needs to be a bee, there still needs to be a daisy, there still needs to be a
Right.
sense of you, because your kids, I've known moms, and I don't want to say any names, but I know moms who have given everything into their child and left no part for themselves, and then their kids grow up and leave and they don't know what to do and they have these breakdowns. And I got to
Mm-hmm.
see that firsthand with some family members, and that was really tough to see. You feel really bad for them,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, well, what about you? They're already fine, they're married, they're older, what about you? And she just didn't know how to answer that because she didn't know who she was.
Right, right. Yeah, and again, that goes back to being an example for your child. Is you need to build a strong foundation within yourself so that they can mirror that and they know that. And yes, because at the end of the day, your children are in your home for so long, not long enough. You know what I mean? Like, it
Right.
seems like 18 is so far away. And I'm sorry, but in the Hispanic community, you don't leave at
We
18.
say 30. I'm
You
just
leave when you're
kidding.
ready.
When you're a man.
You leave when you're ready, right? But and you could always go back. The door's always open. You could always go back. But at least in my family, anyway, it's not everybody's, but thankfully that's how it is for my family.
Right. We're just saying, guys, you lose some of yourself, but you get a lot back. you really build on yourself. And even when you're, in the buzz of it all and you're giving and pouring everything into your child, make sure to leave some for you. And that's
Right.
because
Yes.
you're
For you. That's the thing. You. That I'm working on that. That's something that I'm working on
well,
because
we're
I don't have projects or anything going on the side. I put the baby down and it's me time in the sense that it's time to catch up on the dishes, it's time to catch up on the laundry, it's time to do all of that. And then, you know, I do need to find more me time, but yes, that is very important. Um, to do. You have to have you have to have your identity. You have to know who you are for your baby.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. And if you don't know who you are, you will find who you are.
Yeah.
Just raising your child, that love will transform you and your child and your household. And I say it's all about love. Every time you do anything, love will never steer you wrong. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
loving motherhood. I have changed so much, and I am grateful for all the shedding. My husband's like,
Mm-hmm.
only snakes shed. I'm like, shut up. Mother shed too.
That's not true. Look at all the hair in the shower. We shed.
Oh, he knows. He's like, he was so happy when we had a boy because he's like, I already have your hair all over. Like when I get to work, it's everywhere. It's in my socks, it's in my clothes, it's everywhere. And thank God there's
You're
only
like,
one
that's
girl.
right.
You remember me? I follow you.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I remember when I first started dating my husband and I would go in his truck, right? At the time, the truck that he had, and he had a Mustang at the time, and it was always so clean. And then after a few times, or, after a couple of months of dating, I would get in there and I'm like, huh, there's my hair.
There I am.
This is mine.
That's what I told Joe. I'm like, you'll never get rid of me. Good luck with all my hair.
I
It's
know. I'm like, it'll
everywhere.
always be there.
Well, thanks for
But,
coming on, Daisy. I really do appreciate
yeah,
you. And we will catch you guys next time. As always, catch us every Monday on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And we are heading into, well, we have one more week, but it's almost the end of April. Can you guys believe that?
that's
Crazy,
nuts.
crazy,
That's
crazy,
that's
crazy.
nuts. I was just. I mean, it's about to be my 3rd year anniversary. In May, it's Mother's
Wedding
Day.
anniversary. Yeah.
It's wedding anniversary. That's right. Mother's Day. My nephew on our side, my side is graduating. Our niece on George's side is
Yes, big
graduating. Like,
graduations coming up.
whoo, we have so much going on, and I'm like, ooh, May's gonna be crazy, but exciting. So,
This year is so wild because my nephew, he's my baby cousin. I call him nephew because him and his mother and I were sisters growing up. We grew up in the same household and all. But he went to my graduation. He was a fresh baby, like 6 months. He went to my high school graduation and now he's graduating. I'm like, what? Where did time go?
mm-hmm,
It is so wild to me, but such a good
yeah.
year. As always, I say it's a holiday still. But no, we are reaching. Mother Days is
Oh,
a
Dave's
holiday.
gonna extend this out to Mother's Day. We're still in the holiday season, guys, because we
I'll
got Mother's Day coming
I'll
up.
stop after that because Father's Day is not my holiday. So I'll clean up after
That's
that.
so funny. I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, you guys have a good one and thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Living in the moment, it's the mom life.